Ratan Tata, born in 1937, is the adoptive great-grandson of Tata Group founder Jamshedji Tata. His father, Naval Tata, had been adopted from the family of a distant relative by Jamshedji's childless younger son, also named Ratan Tata, and his wife Navjibai. Tata's parents, Naval and his first wife Suni, separated in the middle 1940s when Ratan was 7 and his younger brother Jimmy was 5 years old. Both he and his brother were raised by their grandmother Lady Navjibai. Many years later, Naval Tata took a second wife Simon and fathered another son Noel Tata. Ratan Tata began his schooling in Bombay at the Campion School and Bishop Cotton School in Shimla and finished his secondary education at the Cathedral and John Connon School. When he invited to speak at his alma mater, he said, quote, "One thing I have never recovered from is a fear of public speaking. The only people speaking publicly in school were those reading out the sermon at assembly and those participating in debates. I wasn't among either, nor was I into too many extracurricular activities. In that, I missed the full culture of Cathedral and it's my loss. Cathedral for me was a mixed bag. I particularly remember a mathematics teacher who I felt was determined that I never complete school. He almost succeeded." Unquote. He completed his BS in Architecture with Structural Engineering from Cornell University in 1962 and later the Advanced Management program from Harvard Business School in 1975. Tata is a member of the Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity. Once back in India after his undergraduate studies, he joined Telco, today's Tata Motors, which was manufacturing automobiles. Soon he was shifted to Tisco, the flagship company of the Tatas, which was in the domain of iron and steel manufacture. Ratan Tata began his career in the Tata Group in 1962. He initially worked on the shop floor of Tata Steel, shoveling limestone and handling the blast furnace. He worked at the Tisco plant at Jamshedpur for 6 years, during which time he learned both the technical aspects of the company's products and the corporate values of the Tata Group. In 1968, he was shifted back to Bombay to assume a more senior position within the group. He was given charge of two SIG companies in the Tata Group, Nelco and Central India Textiles. It was a difficult experience for him. However, he managed a turnaround in both companies within a few years. This experience strengthened him immensely and he was ready to take on larger responsibilities. He had also left an enduring mark on the seniors in Tata's management team. His perseverance and hard work bore fruit when he was made chairman of Tata Industries in 1981. He took over from J.R.L. Tata, who was 78 years old at the time and slowly moving towards retirement. This move created waves in the world of business. Ratan was hailed as the heir apparent of the Tata Empire. But Ratan's period of victory was also laced with grief. His mother was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Ratan immediately flew with her to New York for her treatment. He stayed with her for 4 months till she passed away from the ravaging disease. During this period, Ratan had plenty of time to think and to examine avenues for the Tata Group to branch into. The once dominant and monopolist group was now facing stiff competition in all spheres of business. Ratan sensed the consumer's revolution. His task was to convert the Tata Group into a highly competitive and diversified group of companies. He thought out a process, calling it the 1983 Tata Strategic Plan. This was the turning point in the Tata's heritage of more than 100 years, a group that had stuck to generic business without diversification. With J.R.L. Tata's support, Ratan diversified into contemporary industries like telecommunications, software, biotechnology, etc. At the same time, he created an intense culture of competitiveness within the Tata Group. Slowly, the laid-back attitude of the employees and management changed. In 1991, J.R.D. Tata stepped down as Tata Industries chairman, naming Ratan as his successor. Ratan was criticized for lacking experience in running a company at the scale of Tata Industries. However, under Ratan Tata's stewardship, Tata Tea acquired Tetley, Tata Motors acquired Jaguar Land Rover, and Tata Steel acquired Chorus, all of which turned Tata from a largely India centric company into a global business, with 65% of their revenue coming from abroad. He also pushed the development of the Tata Indica and the Tata Nano. Ratan Tata's chairmanship was widely accepted by the business community and within the Tata Group. Their faith was not misplaced as Ratan began to take the Tata Group to undreamed of heights with innovation and customer value as the keywords. He was instrumental in creating the first totally indigenous Indian cars, Sierra, Estate, and Indica. The Tata Group was also a forerunner in the emerging software field through Ratan's pet project, the Tata Consultancy Services. Both these ventures put the Tatas in the top echelons in the Indian and international economy. The existing business were improved. They bounced back into market leadership positions in spite of intense competition. Ratan's radical change in the group's philosophy was questioned by the senior management team. Eventually, these very changes were commended and lauded. Ratan's tenure at the helm was fraught with issues. The union problem in Tata's Pune plant in the 1990s turned ugly and threatened to tarnish the reputation of the Tata empire, which was built over a century. But Ratan stood up and fought and won. Over the years, Ratan Tata won many such tough situations and carried on the legacy of his predecessors capably. On 31st January 2007, under the chairmanship of Ratan Tata, Tata Sons successfully acquired Chorus Group, an Anglo-Dutch steel and aluminium producer. The merger created the fifth largest steel producing entity in the world. On 26 March 2008, Tata Motors bought Jaguar and Land Rover, the two iconic British brands, from Ford Motor Company. This gave him credibility in the passenger vehicle segment. Ratan Tata's dream was to manufacture a car costing just rupees 1 lakh. He realized his dream by launching the Tata Nano car in the New Delhi Auto Expo on 10 January 2008. Ratan lives a simple life without the hype that would normally go with a person of his stature. His vision to steer each of the Tata Group companies towards growth and profit has come true. Ratan Tata retired from all executive responsibility in the Tata Group on 28 December 2012, which was also his 75th birthday. He is succeeded by Cyrus Mistry, the son of Palonji Mistry and managing director of Shapoorji Pallonji Group. Ratan Tata is currently the chairman emeritus of Tata Sons, Tata Motors, and Tata Steel. He is also the chairman of the two main Tata trusts, Sir Dorabji Tata and Allied Trusts, and Sir Ratan Tata Trust, which together hold 66% of shares in the group holding company Tata Sons. Ratan Tata has served in various capacities in organizations in India and abroad. He is a member of the Prime Minister's Council on Trade and Industry. He is on the board of governors of the East-West Center, the advisory board of R&D's Center for Asia-Pacific Policy, and serves on the program board of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's India AIDS Initiative. He received the Padma Bhushan in 2000 and Padma Vibhushan in 2008 and Lifetime Achievement Award awarded by Rockefeller Foundation in 2012. Knighthood was conferred upon him in 2009 with the second highest knighthood award, the Knight Commander of the Order of the British Empire, KBE. Although Tata said he has no personal icons, a personal credo that he persistently returns to is the need for a level playing field. He said, "My dream India is where every Indian has an equal opportunity to shine on merit. In a country like ours, You have to try to live and lead by example, not flaunt your wealth and prominence.